The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Wonders they say shall never cease to happen. Since when did the problem of AES becomes a problem to other people? Something is happening in the Sahel, and the Sahelians are not happy. They're asking questions about why other people are so interested in whatever that is happening in the Sahel. The report that is coming says that Algerian president came out with a communique. And it's like he's basically saying that the affairs of Mali should be dealt with by Mali. They are not happy about the Russian African Corps presence in Mali because to them they think that these people are in Mali not because they want to help them, but because they want to take their resources. But the Malians are asking, why is Algeria so quick in pointing a finger at Russia when we have other nations like France, the United States, EU, NATO having their bases all over Africa, yet they are not pointing a finger? He went ahead, according to the communique, to talk about how Mali helped them secure their freedom and their sovereignty from France. So they think that whatever situation that the Malian people will be facing, they should deal with it themselves rather than bringing in the Russian African Corps to come and help them, because whenever we have these people in our midst, they are only interested in the gold. So the Malian gold is what Russia is interested in, and they are only taking the gold out of Mali and not helping the Malians to stand on their feet. But the critical questions the Sahelians are asking the Algerian president is, why is he so worried about what is happening in Mali?
President Tebboune, president of the Republic of Algeria, has just declared something very against the Malian authorities. My dear brothers, the Bamako authorities have taken care to establish partnerships with Russia, which provides them with the latest generation of drones to enable them to eradicate the terrorists. I don't know why it is they're young. The President Tebboune of the fact that the Bamako authorities cooperate with Russian authorities. I had made you an informative note recently, saying that President Tebboune, President of the Republic of Algeria, had asked CE that the forces in West Africa leave the Algerian border. We don't really know what this desert has today. He has just announced some comments that incriminate him directly, because as far as I know, Algeria is not the Lele Algeria. Mali is not a territory of Algeria. And I don't know why. I don't know, who does Tebboune think he is? To learn about security affairs in Mali. So, my brothers, before I even told you what President Tebboune said, please stay with us. Until the end, it is very important. We will read the press release together, and at the end, we will analyze. It is very important. So before we even continue, once again, please share this video with everyone, with your brothers, and link the video. So my brothers, without further delay, we move directly to the informative note. Here is of course the statement. Here is of course the statement. I tell you first this statement. President Tebboune says this. Are Russian mercenaries emptying gold of evil? You can't entrust the security of your country to a foreign force, believes Tebboune. My dear brothers, now we will go directly to the press release. It is the very important part. My dear brothers, be very attentive. Be very attentive. Normally, we weren't even going to read this kind of press release because this is the stupidest thing, but you still have to smooth it so that you know what the Algerian authorities think about the security situation. On the side of the Mali, they say they want. They say they are on the security guards in the salt. They say they have the materials, points Badou. Since the so-called, the terrorists are in the process to massacre the population, did they help the evil? Isn't it with a single Kalashnikov? They have done nothing like this. So my brothers, we go directly to the concrete. Listen to press release from the Algerian government, the government of the Algerian Republic, democratic and popular, with particular attention to the evolution of the security situation in the Sahel region as well as in many, the Sahel region as well as numerous debates, prompted by military and economic partners, concluded by certain states, and the region really each state. Or then each president must manage the problems of his country, Do you know that Algerians have their difficulties that they leave the quiet Mali? Listen, Algeria affirms as it has always done, hey. Haha, since its independence. Or that it is the Malian army who helped Algeria so that France can leave this territory. Because France intended to make of Algeria a settlement colony has always been like that in the past. It is with the help of LADDD, of the same Malian that France has been able to leave the Algerian territory. So today, it is the hospital makes fun of the charity. Let's continue the press release because it is necessary to us that they are his unwavering attachment, respect for the sovereignty of states, and the non-interference in the external affairs of the nation, and the preservation of fundamental interests of several African peoples. This constant position is one of the pillars of Algerian diplomacy, and guides its action on the regional and international scene. In this regard, the Algerian authorities believe that the security and sustainable stability of a country rests above all on the strengthening of SES' own national institutions, of SES defense forces, and security, as well as on trust between states and their population. The experience of many nations around the world demonstrates that the consolidation of national capacities remains an essential factor in the preservation of the sovereignty and independence of states. The Algerian government also recalls that natural resources constitute a strategic heritage belonging to the people. Their management must be carried out in the transparency, in compliance with national laws, and in the exclusive interest of economic and social development. Citizens, the energetic and natural mineral riches represent major levers for the prosperity of African nations, and should give priority to the improvement. As far as Mali is concerned, its brother country Algeria maintains deep historical, cultural, and geopolitical relations. The Algerian authorities reiterate their support, to reiterate their wish to see the peace, stability, and security are needed sustainably throughout the Malian territory. Algeria remains convinced that the challenges the region faces requires enhanced cooperation between African states and a dialogue-based approach, consultation, and mutual respect. The Algerian government stresses that the security issues, they point out that wait a little until the stakes, that the security issues, well, wait. We start again. The Algerian government believes, or when it says that security issues, to which actual exceeds national borders, it calls for collective mobilization against terrorism, transnational organized crime, and any form of destabilization that threatens the peoples of the SEL. This struggle must be waged in respect of the sovereignty of the states concerned and in accordance with the principles of international law. I stop here until here. The Algerian government has really said true things. There, we do not doubt it. It requires itself. Cooperation between the leaders really needs to be. But how is it that when it is attacked on the side of the Mali, why is it always done on the north side? Do terrorists appear north of Mali? And be a little bit of thinking, my brothers. Why it is always the north that attacks? Why the Algerian government has never provided, because they say they have the ability to eradicate terrorism. Why they never filmed, why do they not even help? Why they never filmed the terrorist bases to search them with the authorities? Since the Bamako authorities are disbarring the terrorists, have they ever helped the Malian state? Does he stay with only one Kalashnikov? Now they come with, of course, a very, it says that very clear a statement that shows that they are committed to democratic principles, who are attached to the sovereignty of Mali. My dear brothers, let's stop being a hypocritical at times, because when the Algerian president says that the Russian mercenaries are emptying the gold on the Mali side, they call mercenaries, not even the Russian military is emptying the gold on the side of the Mali. It simply means that he has a problem with the authorities, with the authorities. How does he know that the mercenaries that the military, that the Russian military is emptying the gold on the side of the Mali? Where do they get this information from? Why are they saying these things against a partner who has committed to restore the sovereignty of the evil? So my brothers, now what I ask you is that you share this video with everyone so that everyone can analyze the words of Tebboune, President of the Republic of Algeria, following well safe to the forces of Africa to body, who carry out the operations on the Mali side. My brothers, I would really like you to give me your point of view in relation to the situation. Tell me what you think is very important to us. So my brothers, on this it is here that this informative note ends. I hope you liked it. If this is the case, do it to me in the comments, share the video with your friends, and meet us later for a new video. Bye-bye.
When France was there, they never questioned. When the United States was in the Sahel, they never questioned. Why are they asking questions now that we have the Russian African Corps coming with drones to make sure that these people don't have a hiding place? They can no longer hide. The sky is no longer for them. The ground is no longer for them. So why is he bent on talking about what the other nations are doing in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso without concentrating on what they are rather having as a problem in their country? Because to the Malians, the Russian African Corps has been a savior. Because of them, the way they predicted the attack that happened on the 25th of April isn't happening. They told us that Mali isn't going to survive. The economy is going to crumble because there wouldn't be any supply chain. And we heard the threat that came out from the T people. They are going to be a total blockade. They even talk about how they are going to continue with the attacks. And every plot of theirs failed. We are now seeing that the one in charge of the situation is now the Malian forces, together with their partner, the Russian African Corps. So the question the Sahelians are asking Algeria, is it that Algeria is not happy with the current situation, that the Malian armed forces now have total control over the T activities? Because why will you now come out and talk about Russia interested in the gold, just like Emmanuel Macron came and said, Russia is the one that is rather coming in to recolonize Africa the second time. But they are here to make sure that they protect Africa. When we know for centuries we have been in contact with them without any proper solution to our problems. They have always made sure the African continue to remain poor. Our resources continue to leave the continent in the guise of aid. And we have never seen any development after we came in contact with them. So Algeria also speaking in that tone, they are asking, why is Algeria so concerned about the activities of the Malian armed forces with the Russian African Corps? Why should that be your problem? Because for the Malians, they are so excited that with the help of the Russian African Corps, with the drones, the technology, the intelligence, everything that they have brought, has given them the power, the control over the situation of these activities that are making sure they never have peace. They even came out and told us that the President Assimi Goïta, all in all the savior, has only 2 weeks to go. Nothing happened. We are seeing that more of their leaders are taken out. They are eliminating the people that are the mastermind of everything. And then you come out and say the people are rather here because of our gold. No matter what the situation would be, there's no way Russia is going to help us, and we wouldn't also say thank you. It is not possible because we are not paying taxes to the Russian government. They are allies. So even if they do better trading, give me this and I'll give you the security. There's nothing wrong with that. That is what the Malians are saying. With the help of the Russian African Corps, we are seeing that Kida is now having peace. And they are talking about them not having these people around their border. Why won't they have their people around their border to protect their people? If they share a border with you and they know that that border will cause them trouble, they can station their people there to protect them. And you know how we do things in Africa. Like, I don't know whether we are looking for our own progress or we are the ones that are looking for the setback of Africa. Whenever we see Africans doing something meaningful for themselves, we are the same people who will start accusing or criticizing the same thing. How do we preach for sovereignty, yet we are not ready to be sovereign people? Ever since these people left the Sahel region, we have seen a different dimension about how things are done in these countries. We are seeing total control. People were there for over 10 years. We never saw any single person arrested. From the T side, they keep spreading, they keep becoming more powerful than the army. And just these few years that we had these people, especially when in Mali on April, we have seen that it has totally changed the game. Everything is now under the control of the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. The TT are now the ones coming out to even claim there's hellfire on them, indirectly claiming that they are attacking the civilians. And we will have our own kind coming out to talk about Russian African Corps in Mali taking the resources. But the resources belong to Mali. If they decide to give everything to Russia, why should that be the problem of another country? Because people don't meddle in the affairs of your countries. So the time for us to see who we are and why we are not moving forward is now. Because it's like we are not ready to move forward. Because when our brothers are doing well and we need to support, we rather tend to be criticizing them. The leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso and the Sahelian people are saying that it is their resources. So whatever they decide to do with it, other nations in Africa just have to keep quiet and watch. Just like they don't meddle in their affairs, they shouldn't also meddle in their affairs because they are sovereign states and they know what is right for them. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's colonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, North Africa, and in Algeria.